Terry attacked Brittany's friend pretty bad. Okay? Britt's friend made a deal with Terry that she would not call the police or press charges on him for what he did to her if he would just leave and go back to Illinois. Like, just go where he had family and friends. Terry agreed. Terry had court on February 22nd for some substance charges. But for some reason, Brittany's best friend, Terry's girlfriend, decided to drive to Illinois to bring him back so that he can make his court date, okay? She let him drive home on the way back, and he eventually, on February 20th, around 9 p.m., he decided to pull off behind a college campus and grabs her by the neck and begins to choke her. And he allegedly got out of the car, went over to the passenger side, and just started beating on her. It was said that this lasted for 3 hours. And Brittany's friend starts begging him to go pick up her daughter. She had to pick up her little girl. She was waiting for her. So he made her put on a hoodie and have the hood cover her face so her daughter wouldn't see what he had done to her. The next day, February 21st, she went to the hospital and doctors and nurses were asking her what happened. Like, and they notified police because they thought it was strange that she would come in with all of these things. Like, she was just attacked, like, there's no way. So they call police and she's terrified, but she ends up telling police everything and what happened to Terry. And obviously he missed his court date on the 22nd, so now Britt's friend is terrified for her life because remember, she promised Terry that she would not call the cops or press charges on him if he would just leave. And now he missed his court date. There is a warrant out for his arrest. And so they both assume that, he probably left because there's no way he's going to hang around with a warrant out for his arrest. And so Britt's friend hadn't been staying at her apartment because she was terrified. On February 27th, Britt's friend really needed to grab some stuff from her apartment. So both girls, assuming that he probably left town, went to her apartment. So the two plus Brittany's little 2-year-old daughter. They scoped out the whole area, the parking lot, everywhere around it, and even inside the apartment real quick to see if he was anywhere in sight. And there was no sign of Terry. So all three of them go inside the house. And Brittany's friend, the girlfriend of Terry, is like hurrying, grabbing up her stuff and packing it up. Well, Terry comes in through the back door armed with a hammer. He starts hitting Brittany's friend with it. Britt is in a panic and her daughter's in her arms and she's trying to fumble with her phone to unlock it, but she can't. She's saying, please stop, please stop. And she eventually gets away. And she's running around screaming for neighbors to help. Nobody would answer their doors. And she finally stumbled to a local bar nearby and collapses right at the front door as she walks in. The bar people call 911. Both girls get taken to the hospital, both needing staples in their head. Severe damage they both suffered. Like, so sad. A few weeks later, a warrant out for Terry's arrest for 2 intentional homicides. People were looking for him, and for some reason it didn't go public in the news, but nonetheless, Britt was terrified. She lived alone in her house with her 6 kids, and her 2-year-old just witnessing this brutal crime that this guy just, did on her and her friend. So both were very terrified. They just wanted Terry to get arrested so that they could feel some sense of peace and feel like, okay. There was a huge manhunt out for Terry, and they looked in 5 different states for him. Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, Arizona, and Indiana. But Terry was hiding out. April 24th, everyone's lives would change forever. Brittany, the friend of the girlfriend of Terry, someone with little to no ties to Terry other than her best friend dating him. Well, her and her 6 babies were home that night, sleeping. And her 13-year-old son would say later that the last time he saw his mother was at 2 a.m. and when they went to bed. When he woke up the next morning, he saw his 2-year-old sister walking around in her PJs, which was odd because The little girl was like glued to Brittany's hip. Like they were so close and she was always with her mother. So he thought it was odd that she's just roaming around in her PJs. So he's looking for his mom. He can't find his mom anywhere. He goes into her room and he sees blood on the sheets. And so this brave little 13-year-old boy calls 911 and he tells the police that he can't find his mom. There's blood on the sheet, but they do have a Ring doorbell. So the little boy looked at the Ring doorbell camera footage and saw a clip of his mom walking out of the house with a man wearing a hoodie and a mask on behind her. And he heard one word, quote, move, end quote. It is alleged, and this is the last time that Brittany would be seen alive, but it is alleged that Terry broke into her home where Brittany was asleep with her 2-year-old daughter. He had to have caused some sort of injury, probably hitting her or beating her or something, and then made her get up and walk out the door into her car. This is where he is captured on camera saying, quote, move, end quote. And she kind of looks back, like, at the camera. It's so sad. Britt's dad, who had spoke to the media a few times, said that when he saw that video where she looks back and he felt like her looking back at him, he said, quote, I saw my kid looking back at me saying, Daddy, help me. Please help me, end quote. It's so sad. People online were saying, why didn't she just run while she was outside? Well, she had 6 babies inside, you know? I mean, I think any mother would put on a brave face so that, like, I would be terrified to run from a man and then he'd potentially go back into my house and harm my children. So I think that's why. But cops would eventually find Brittany a couple blocks away in her car, badly beaten with a bullet in her head. This is when all allegations of Terry finally went public. People were looking. 3 women would get arrested for helping Terry. Alicia and Carmelita, I don't know how to say her name, but them 2 are both accused of driving Terry back to Texas after the hammer incident. And then the 3rd girl, Diamond, for taking him to her mother's house to hide out in. Like, I'm sorry, this man is abusing women and you take him to your mother's house of all places to hide out? No way, no thanks. Cops eventually found Terry in Chicago, Illinois. When police showed up, Terry was inside armed with a gun. And there was a huge standoff, obviously. He was in the window, you know, showing his gun. And so there was a huge standoff and some negotiation happened between them and Terry. And that's when he decided to surrender and he got arrested. He would plead not guilty, but investigators said that they had a confession, so I don't know. A cousin of Britt's posted on Facebook that in court, all Terry would do constantly is look back and smirk and smile at him and the family. Ugh, nothing worse than like a cocky freaking suspect, right? Or whatever he is, but I'm glad the 3 girls got arrested because, you know, that he's a dangerous man. And for 3, like, naive women, I'm assuming, helping such an evil man escape and hide out is crazy to me. Even in your mom's house, that is crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't bring around anyone remotely dangerous to my house. Or I don't even like people knowing where I live, let alone, oh. So, anyways, that's the story. So sad. You know, my heart goes out to Brittany and all her babies. And that 2-year-old witnessing. Who's to say she didn't even wake up that night? You know what I mean? Like, in bed with her mother. I mean, I don't know, but very sad story. So, everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, be kind to everybody, and have a good day. Till next time.